All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You'll see us following the probe as we get into game number 2. Yes, that's right, State's up to a bit of cheese. Ace cheese in chat, if you got it. But spawning in the bottom left corner of the map, it's going to be the green Protoss State.
Yeah, but right as the red Zerg, it's JonSnow.
An interesting place to put his gates. I wonder if this is going to be 2 gates then. With the positioning over here, the distance from the main to the third, plus the fact that there's not a lot of surface area, this kind of feels like this might just be one of those one gate in the stalkers rather than 2 gates in the front lines.
Yeah, it kind of looks like it wouldn't even fit a second gateway in it. Like the Vespene Kaiser's blocking it.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. There might be space, because yeah, the power grid is weird, right? Like you can sometimes power a building off of nothing. But
yeah, like one space, yeah. That's odd. We saw a 2 get on this map before, right? I think that was versus Terran? I can't remember. But it was basically like right to the left of the natural ramp.
Oh.
And, you know, we talked about it. It's just such a new map that the proxy locations really aren't figured out, unlike Overgrowth, where you just kind of, you look for the proxy locations.
He's not taking gas, and he's not taking a second pylon at home. Is he going to do a second gate? Awkwardly? No. Oh, you know what this... Okay, hang on. Back this up. This actually reminds me of a build I saw one of the former Team Assumption guys do. I kind of do a very bad version of this because I'm not nearly as good as these guys. You do the one gate with the Zealot, and the idea is that you're supposed to harass the natural and do whatever you can to actually knock it down. Meanwhile, back at home, you go for the pylon, you go for the forge, you go for the expand, and you basically play safe behind this. But normally, the way I've seen this done with the one gate is you actually put it in the mineral line to block out the hatchery. And it forces JonSnow to invest in Lings, Spine Crawler, or Queen, all these things early game that would otherwise just eat away at your economy. So to see State do it this way is weird.
Yeah, I think I do recall seeing the version you're talking about, just like in the gate or in the expansion. But JonSnow did go for a rather greedy opener. It wasn't the best for pool, which he did last time, which I think State might have been hoping for, maybe, but it is Expedition Lost, completely different type of map.
Do you think he actually puts cannons down with this?
Cannons down? That's what I was wondering. You're about to go for, and you said put down a Nexus. Like, oh, really? Like, does it not sync up with the cannons? And apparently it does.
I mean, it would be the safest cannons of all time. You got 2 Zealots to protect them, for goodness sake.
Yeah. I think I recall seeing this exact version. Like, the gateway is a weird placement and all, but this exact version from someone else, and I just remember we were like, you know, we were talking how dirty it was.
Well, the cool thing about this with JonSnow is, like, with the second cannon going over here, this is on purpose. This isn't because he's looking for a place for creep. It's because he wants to be able to catch Lings with an odd shot or 2 if they decide to leave the base. You know, if something tries to run past it, it'll take some damage. It might kill a couple units. But JonSnow can always go through those back rocks if he wants to escape his base. If he wants to go across the map and maybe catch State off guard. He's just gonna sneak past the cannon, though. Oh,
indecision. Wow.
He could have gotten out of there with all those Lings.
Well...
Do you think then that he tries to break this rather than go for a counterattack?
I feel like you would have to. Now, oh, well, never mind. That's a Baneling. That's a Baneling list. Okie dokie then. So, I don't really know if he would try and break this with a Baneling bust. Like, a Baneling bust has got to be to end the game opponent.
He's losing so many Lings, though, just to the Zealots.
Yeah. Well, like I said, like, he went for, like, a greedy opener at the before pool, but a gas before pool, and, like, some, like, 16, like, 17 pool, too, I think. So, like, those Lings were on time, and, you know, I obviously wasn't expecting this type of build, so a lot of things I think you're not going well. It's so odd, because the last game, he defended so well and was so patient and calm.
Yeah, I feel like something halfway between game number 1 snapped for JonSnow, and he's just been, I don't know, feeling it since. The Lings are going to be able to run past the Zealots, which is nice, and if they do decide to Bane Bust, well, I wouldn't take this fight.
Yeah, I don't even think... well, I guess if he doesn't, he has to worry about them going back into the main.
Right, but then you can actually use your drones or your queens to cover. I don't know. He's going to lose a lot of Lings for this, which is what I disagree with. If he's microing them out, then maybe okay. But look at this. Like, oh my god.
The amount of Lings is absolutely crucial. You always talk about this when, like, people Baneling bust, right? It's not really the Banelings that are sometimes the scariest part. It's the flood of Lings, right? Like, the amount of Lings you have behind it. But it was just the time that bought. Like,
is he going for the back rocks?
Yeah, but the back rocks, you know, are so difficult to break down because there's only 4 lanes on them.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. What they did was they put the rocks up basically like one step up the cliff, so you can't get the full on the bottom, but you can get a full surround on the top for what would normally be that ramp. I think it was 6 on the top, 4 on the bottom, right?
I don't know about the top.
It's wider on the top. I know that much for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so if he decides to bust the front, the problem is there are sentries out now, so this might not cut it. He's still gonna go for it though. He's gonna unbase it.
Man, look how many banelings that is. I mean, that is a scary amount of banelings. But you know, an oracle might pop out. I know he got a Stargate. Yeah, there it is. And oracles will be effective against the Ling Flood.
But I mean, two
there
force
aren't
fields.
any probes at the natural. I didn't even realize how late that Nexus was. He was like one base.
I really thought this was gonna be I thought he was gonna put this down like immediately, not do the cannons and the investment the way he did. But I mean, there's 4 cannons he built this game, the crazy wall thick as it is. I mean, I guess the Nexus being this late does kind of make sense, but unorthodox to see.
And this won't work with sentries here. It used to be a beautiful move if you know he did do that Nexus thought sooner.
Spread, boys, spread.
Or just go for it. Do something.
I mean, I guess
Still has
Bailey's,
2 more force fields. Oh.
you know, Bailey's these would almost be better used on the back rocks. Open the door and just flood through.
Yeah.
But good game, well played. What a quick series.